Igualdad, equidad.
Equality, equity.
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 Equidad.
Equity. When I was learning the story of Hartford Public Schools, I quickly realized that there is a tale of two Hartfords. We have consistently high-performing schools, schools that are nationally recognized, and then we have schools where there was a real need to accelerate student learning. And the central office team went out to schools, and we asked principals and school teams to tell us their stories and their journeys of improvement. And we asked, how can we help to accelerate progress in your school? We looked to the research. We looked to where schools that had turned around in performance had accomplished things. And we learned what they had done well to build out what we call our acceleration agenda.
The acceleration agenda is a pilot that includes 6 schools. This pilot group, we are engaging in what we call learning by doing. We are continuously reflecting on the learning of the schools, the learning of us as central office leaders, so that we can then invite additional schools into the Acceleration Agenda program.
And what we learned from the research and the best practice of schools that were successful in turning around performance was 3 things. First, there's strong leadership from the entire school community. The second thing in place was a powerful focus on instruction, where teams of teachers had the opportunity to learn together and refine their instructional practice, and the instruction was tailored to the needs of each student in the classroom. The third thing in place was wraparound supports and services for students. So based on what we learned from our schools, from successful schools, and the research, we built out our acceleration agenda.
My role as a City Connect site coordinator is to work with the teachers and school personnel to identify the strengths and needs of each and every student in 4 domains: academic, social, emotional, behavioral growth, health, and family. Once we identify the strengths and needs, then my job is to then coordinate services for each student.
I've had the opportunity to speak several times with our site coordinator. I've seen some of the work she's been doing. I know she has been speaking with the teachers, looking at the classes, sort of doing evaluations of the classes and meeting with parents and trying to find out what the children's needs are and trying to direct us when necessary to resources and so forth. So I think it's really important work, and I'm glad that it is here.
Una de las metas mías sería que los padres y los maestros y los estudiantes se sientan todo apoyados, que tengan servicios en la escuela, pero también en la comunidad, porque la escuela tiene sí muchos servicios, pero hay niños que a veces no pueden quedarse en la escuela porque los padres trabajan o los padres los recogen o tienen que coger la bus para la casa.
Teachers are learning about the teaching and learning cycle, so we're able to look at assessments, see what standards are being assessed, take a real close look at those standards and what they're asking us. And then we're able to backwards plan for the students. After we backwards plan, we give them that assessment, and based on the timely data that we get back, we're able to individualize reteaching for each student. The teachers love receiving the data from the assessments because it really gives them the chance to see if students really learned what they taught. And they're able to individualize instruction to reteach those standards in a totally different way so that students are able to understand the standards.
As a teacher, yeah, I'm able to see what those standards are and help my students to meet those goals. This year I was very excited to see that our second test that we took, our students scored higher than many others in the district, but also in the whole cohort of other schools that are in many other states that also took that. So that was just quite exciting to see that that was happening. And as a teacher, I was very proud of my students.
So for example, at Martin Luther King, I work with the instructional leadership team, and on a very regular basis, we step back and we reflect on our goals and our aims. I model for the instructional leadership team what intentional leadership looks like. What does it look like, sound like, and feel like, so that they can then model the exact same practice with their teachers, which we want the teachers to then engage in purposeful, intentional design of lessons that are aligned to the goals and to the standards. And that is what we ultimately want our students to experience.
Schools within the Acceleration Agenda Network receive a range of resources to support implementation.
La práctica deliberada, alineada a los objetivos y el aprendizaje de alta calidad para cada uno de nuestros estudiantes. Los apoyos, las condiciones, las estructuras, examinar todos esos elementos. Ese es el trabajo de la educación. Ese es el trabajo que tenemos que hacer para poder mejorar las condiciones y las experiencias y los resultados académicos para cada uno de nuestros estudiantes.